When I think of organ donation, it brings a smile to my face for a few reasons. One reason is because it always reminds me of a conversation that I had with my husband. We were at the DMV waiting for our driver's license to be printed. Dean had noticed that I had checked the box organ donor. I didn't realize it at the time, but he was very against it. I stated all the reasons why I wanted to do it, mainly because I was dead and I would love to be able to help others. He still said that he wouldn't consent when I died. I laughed pretty hard because I realized the irony in this. When he dies and the doctor asks if I want to donate his organs, it'll be yes. The other reason I smile is because I think of my sweet nephew, Calvin. How even after he died, he was still giving to others. More than 123,000 people in the United States are currently on the waiting list for a life-saving organ transplant. Another name is added to the national transplant waiting list every 12 minutes. On average, 21 people die every year from the lack of available organ transplant. 7% of people on the waiting list, that's more than 6,500 each year, die before they receive the transplant, according to the American Transplant Foundation. You might be asking yourself if you could really save someone's life through an organ donation, and the answer is yes, you can. One decreased donor can save up to 8 lives through organ donation and can save and enhance more than 100 lives through the life-saving and healing gift of tissue and organ donation, according to the American Transplant Foundation. Okay, next question might be, what organs can be donated? I was not sure. Organs that can be donated after death are the heart, liver, kidneys, lungs, pancreas, and small intestine. Tissues include the cornea, skin, veins, heart valves, tendons, ligaments, and bones. The cornea is the most commonly transplanted tissue. More than 40,000 corneal transplants take place each year in the United States, according to the American Transplant Foundation. My nephew, Calvin, died 7 years ago in a car accident. It wasn't expected, and we were all in shock. He was only 13 years old. My sister Donna and her husband decided to donate whatever they could because they knew Calvin would want to help others. Even though they made the decision to donate Calvin's organs, it's still hard to think about their little boy not being whole when they buried him. They also weren't sure what other people might say when they saw Calvin in the casket. But the doctors did a great job, and you couldn't tell that anything was missing. In the February 1988 Ensign, Samuelson Jr., the regional representative physician, said the church has taken no official position on organ transplants. It seems obvious, however, that organ transplants does not affect one's resurrection. Since the organ when sued have to be returned to the basic elements of the earth following death anyways, whatever happens to an organ following death, we are promised that every limb and joint shall be restored to its body. Yea, even a hair of the head shall not be lost. Alma 40:23. In the meantime, tremendous blessings have come to countless thousands and their families through organ donation and replacement. Several physicians involved in transplantation have shared with me inspirational stories and letters from those who have received this special service. Families grieving from the death of a loved one have been greatly comforted by the knowledge that their other lives have been saved or measurably improved through the recipient of a vital organ transplant. Calvin died in October. So the coming holidays were going to be hard for my sister and her husband and the rest of the boys. I saw my sister and her family struggle. They had spent Thanksgiving with us, and Donna had shared how she was having such a hard time with everything. When they arrived home after Thanksgiving, Donna called me crying. There was a letter waiting for them at home. They learned that someone was given the gift of sight after being blind their whole life because of Calvin's donation. That letter meant the world to my sister and her family. That small blessing of knowing that they helped someone even though they were in so much pain helped lessen their pain. In a story on KSL.com titled, donor's family reaches out to girl who had multi-organ transplant, talks about how an 8-year-old little girl, Kyrie, from Pittsburgh, needed a triple organ transplant. Her mother was so excited that her little girl was getting the transplant, but she also knew what that meant for another mother. She said, I couldn't wish that call because I know that for us to get that call, what to happen. I couldn't wish for someone to lose a child. In Lancaster, Pennsylvania, a family grieved over the death of their 5-year-old daughter, Ariana. Her mother said, we're going to miss her because our whole life revolved around her. But we're really happy that she was able to save some lives and that she's going to live on that way. According to the article, 4 children will live because of Ariana's organs that were donated. Kyrie's mom said, I think I am helping the donor's mom and she's helping me as well. At Ariana, the donor's funeral, her mother said, we know that she was a miracle to begin with and that she had a purpose. To know that her purpose was not just touching the lives that we can see here, but now she is going to allow other people to live and maybe their future generations to come. It is just nice to know that Ariana is still making a difference in the world. When you are an organ donor, your loved ones can feel a sense of peace and happiness at a sad time in their lives. It can also give them hope to go on with their own lives. At this point, you might be wondering, how can I become an organ donor? According to dmv.org, there are 4 things you need to do. To register as an organ donor, first, you need to register with your state's organ donor registry. Second, you need to select yes to the organ donation when you apply for your driver's license. Third, you need to sign a card if it's available. And fourth, talk to your family. To help your family understand and carry out your wishes, sit down with your loved ones and tell them about your decision to be an organ and tissue donor. They can serve as your advocate and may be asked to give consent for donation or provide information to the transplant team. I wondered, since my husband didn't want me to be an organ donor, could he really stop it from happening? According to organdonor.gov, it says, even if you are a registered donor, it is essential that your family knows your wishes. Your family may be asked to sign a consent form in order for your donation to occur. If you wish to learn how organ donation preferences are documented and honored where you live, contact your local OPO. The OPO can advise you of specific local procedures, such as joining donor registries that are available to residents in your area. You can Google OPO and look up your state and get all the information that you would need. You don't need to be dead to donate a liver. According to organdonor.gov, within the United States, living donations of a kidney can be made to a family member, friend, or anyone on the waiting list. Living donations are arranged through one of several transplant centers throughout the U.S. Before anyone can be considered as a donor, the individual must undergo a complete physical, as well as a psychological evaluation by the transplant center where they intend to make the donation. The next time you're at the DMV, please check that donor box. Talk to your family. Tell them about your wishes to donate your organs. Talk to your doctor so that he or she is aware of what you want to do. You can save someone's life.